So today's topic is a burning topic. Everyone is glued to the various screens. The entire day is spent from the TV screen to the laptop screen to the mobile screen. And at some point, the technology which was supposed to help us in a way may be becoming counterproductive because we are getting too much attached to it. So instead of the technology being used by the humans, the technology is using the humans and we are getting connected, addicted to it. So that is the broad subject we are going to cover. And what do you say about this, Gaurav?
True, it is the reality. If you look at the Facebook, that movie about Facebook and all, it started as a social experiment. They didn't make the product itself, so they just played it out, and then people got hooked on to so much. Then it became platform which they can use us. The advertisements we see all around us are uh, built on that because we are so much addicted to it. We are spending so much time on that. These platforms understands us really well. Sometimes I like jokingly say to my nephews that and to my brother also that our wives and mother does not know so much about us than the Google and Facebook knows.
Yeah, that's frightening. They have all the information about her, us, bank
Yes.
account, mobile number, mail ID, our height, weight, preferences, what movies we see, what books we read. Very true. Even our best friends may not know so much about. Anyway,
The,
let's come on. So, is social media bad by itself? Is the internet bad? What is the problem? Where is the problem? Is it the technology? Is it hardware, software, people? I mean, why do we need it? Can we throw it away? What do you feel about this? Which part is the problem here?
Um, oh, actually, when it started, it was started with a good purpose. It wanted to help connect people who are like far or they can't meet often and all. So it started with a good purpose. I'll give an analogy here. It's like sugar, right? When we take it in a right quantity, the sugar is not bad. People are not bad. The technology is not bad. It's just that when we have it in like right quantity, it's all good. When we start taking overdose, when we get hooked onto it a lot, then when that's when it starts to get dangerous.
So you're saying that internet and this digital media is like sugar. If you take 4 teaspoons in a day, you're fine. But if you're taking 14, then you're asking for trouble. That's it. That's
Yeah,
what you're saying.
you got it perfect.
So there's nothing wrong with the technology, with the social media, because right now we are on social media, right? We are using this as a platform for education and for our evolution, you can say, or growth. So we can't say it is bad, but too much of it. So we have a lot of viewers here. So let me ask you, all the viewers out there on Facebook Live, just type in, do you feel that you're overdoing the digital media? If you say you're over addicted or overusing, type yes. Or if you feel you are in control, then type no. Let's see what our viewers have to say about this. Are you too much addicted to the net? Type yes. Else, you can say no. I'm in total control. I look at my phone when I want. Nothing controls me. I am in control of the technology. Let's see what our viewers have got to say.
This is interesting.
Let's take a feedback from our viewers. Okay, somebody has said hopefully in control. Yes, hopefully in control. That's very interesting. Arya says no. Okay, that's very nice, Arya. Nice to say that. He's saying no. He's not addicted. Very nice. Let's see what other viewers have got to say on this. Are they overindulging in the media, the television, the Netflix, the internet, the social media, or are they in control? Okay, so as we keep getting the answers, so let's come on to what are the problems. So if we indulge too much in the internet, too much on the digital world, the digital media, if we are too much attached to it, what kind of problems does it create? Is there a problem or no? Firstly, let's say that.
Before we discuss the problem and before we dive deep into the topic, I want to ask a basic elementary question, which is asked to us, or we often ask our kids that, what do you want to become? Like, so my question is, who's your role model? Who's your real life hero? and I would like to know why. So, like, probably I have heard people saying that they like Sachin Tendulkar. They would like to be one of them. People who are interested in business sees Mukesh Ambani as the hero. In acting, people look up to Amitabh Bachchan, social service. Anybody, Kiran Bedi, Swami Vivekananda, Dr. Abdul Kalam Azad. In sports, we have Saina Nehwal from Hyderabad, or Mother Teresa in social and welfare. So, who's your real life hero and why? May I know? Can you please put it in the comments?
Okay, so who's your real life hero? For the people out there on Facebook Live, who's your real life hero? Who inspires you? So should you just type out and see? That may give you some idea on where you want to go or what you want to do. Is that it? Is that your direction of thought, Gaurav?
No, I just want you to think about that and hold on to that thought. I'll come back to it because I'll connect it with the purpose. All these social media, the time we spend on this, how it helps or does not help in a long run or in a bigger
So
picture.
meanwhile, let me just show you some of the responses we've got from the viewers. Cor Neha says, my 15-year-old son is addicted. And then we have Sumara who says that her role model is Ratan Tata. And Seema Khan says sometimes get carried away, but mostly in control. So we have different views from the audience. So who's your role model, audience? Who inspires you?
And
Who's
why?
the person you look up to? Yeah, it can be from any field. Just type in the box and so that we come to know who's. So we have Suma who says who's huge fan of Subhash Chandra Bose. That's great. And Mr. Swami says Avian Swami. Fantastic. Yeah, okay. So let's go ahead. So what is your point?
No, I just wanted to hold on to that thought and we can go back to your question.
Okay, we'll come back to that part of inspiration. Arya says Narendra Modi. Fantastic. So what is your, let's come on to the next point. So what is the danger of, let's talk of the dangers. What is the danger? What will happen if you're too much getting into the internet? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so we discussed that actually these technology are being made to help us. It's actually there are a lot of advantages of it, but the disadvantages is when we use it a lot. So few of the symptoms are like social media is the first thing. Like as soon as you wake up, the first thing you look at is, or like you might have seen people, they have not opened their eyes, but they start looking for the phone. That's
Okay.
not good, which is a very clear cut sign that you are like you are too much used to your phone. You can't wake
Right.
up without.
So
So
what should you do?
I mean, I think it's not good. I mean, what happens is as soon as you pick up your phone, the first thing you get to see some news or get to see some updates from friends. And what happens is your phone, whatever your surroundings and this, whatever that events which might have happened, controls your mood. Why do we want to do that? It's not a good practice to see phone as the first thing in the morning.
Oh, that's very interesting. So you're saying that instead of doing what we want to do, some update or some news is going to decide how our entire day is going to go. You're saying that?
Yeah, and basically just keep it away like for some time. Make a strong rule saying that as soon as you wake up, you're gonna do your daily chores or say some prayer or have say something for gratitude. I mean, what I'm trying to say is begin your day on a positive note,
Right.
not being influenced by something which is external, which is gonna affect
Right.
you. You
So very
have a
interesting. Very interesting point. So we have a comment from a user, Mr. Swami. He says thinking will be reduced and time will be consumed. Very, very interesting. So what else are the dangers of too much of exposure to internet?
Few more side effects I see that people waste a lot of time looking at like nonsense stuff and then they procrastinate as to what was the priority. It
Okay.
happens mostly at workplace, or I've seen that younger ones, if some work has been assigned to them, they're like busy on their phone, let's say paying bills or something, or if they just have to get some veggies or something, they just keep busy on phone, procrastinate, and then it just never happens or it gets late.
So procrastination is, I mean, you just postpone things and you're doing social media from Facebook to WhatsApp, and whatever is the essential work you're supposed to do, it just vanishes.
Yeah,
You
it just
forget.
delayed or
Okay.
doesn't happen.
Okay. What
So,
else?
to be very honest, I will not say that I don't fall in any of these category, but since the time I have started working on these, I have become conscious of things. I reduce. There are few things which, few habits which I have improved upon. So I'm pretty much, because I'm also part of this generation. I have my own YouTube, TikTok addiction and all. But since the time I have been aware of these things, I've controlled a lot.
So the awareness is important, right?
Awareness is
Um,
very important.
so does it affect our health? Does too much of
Absolutely,
social media affect our health?
absolutely. Because most of the time the life is stagnant. We are just sitting at one place, looking at mobile. There's a lot of eye strain. I mean, at usually youngsters. I mean, even the elders also look at the mobile during night times, and they watch it at stretch, 2 to 4 hours easily. And then we immediately sleep after that. So the kind of effect it has on our eyes is not good. So when you wake up next day, this your eyes feel strenuous. And then we don't have habit of where as soon as we wake up we should splash some water on the like in the eyes. What usually now happens is when you wake up again, the first thing what you do is look at the phone.
Okay. So
So
that means before sleeping, you are on that hooked on to the digital media. You go off to sleep. Maybe during the dream also you're watching some serial or something. And when you
I
wake
do.
up, the first thing you do is pick up. So it's like continuous. Your mind is completely hooked on to the social media, right? So,
Strictly.
so does it lead to addiction? Is there a problem in the addiction? How do you decide that somebody is addicted or not? Like one of the ladies, she had said that her son is addicted. We keep hearing of a lot of people. Is there a danger of addiction, and what is the danger?
So I have categorized it into two parts. So these are like very strong symptoms that the usage of mobile is really high. Few of the things I have seen is like, craving for internet connection. Wherever you go, you check in at all the places. You just can't stop yourself. You go for a dinner and all. You go to a nice place. You are continuously clicking photos rather than enjoying the dish or enjoying the beauty of the nature. So these are the signs. But when really heights is, or you should consider seeing someone or seek help in cases where you experience less satisfaction or less happiness when you don't get internet or photos of this thing, or by not spending time on social media. Then it's a strong sign that you should be talking to someone. I have
Okay.
also worked with few youngsters where they really start to feel jealous. I'm not saying that they just see something with their friend and all, they're like, okay, he has it better, but it really goes to a higher level. That's alarming.
Okay, so you're saying that the danger of social media is this issue of comparison. That he went to
Yes.
Paris and I went to whatever Delhi, or during the vacations. So I think this vacation thing is actually going into a lot of comparisons. In fact, to the extent that I've heard people saying that which place should we go to, which will look good on Instagram when we come back. So instead of going out and enjoying the holiday, you're more worried about posting pictures, getting likes, and of course, somebody got 100 likes, you got only 50, so that becomes a kind of a comparison. And then you're forever waiting for likes. That is, I think, a major problem. So this expectation, and when that expectation doesn't come, that's when it can create a kind of a maybe. Does it affect our self-esteem also?
Right. So that's exactly what my next point is. It really is an alarming situation, and you should seek help. If social media or whatever being posted, if it's raising your anxiety level, if it's affecting your overall well-being over a period of time, you should talk to someone. So, these are some serious things which are happening. It should these social media things are supposed to help us feel better, not the other way
Right,
around.
right. So this a technology which was supposed to bring us together and make us feel better is actually making us feel worse, because till the time the likes are coming, you are doing well. but the moment the likes don't come, then you lose sleep over it. So we have some comments from our users. Mr. Swami says waiting for likes, etc. again leads to addiction. Yeah, absolutely agree with you. Thank you for that. And we have Seema who says social media keeps you away from real friends, real people around you. Very true. Very true. So we don't really know who are the people. You may have, let's say, 4,000 friends, or we don't know, right? We don't know how many friends you have on the internet. But tomorrow, if you are admitted to the hospital, how many of them are actually going to come to you?
Yeah.
So that is, I think, the measure of real friends. Okay. So is there anything else you would like to say before we come on to the point of how to come out of this addiction, or how to reduce this social media usage? Any other danger you find?
No, I just want to quote like a real life example which I've experienced. Because I'm not that much addicted. I'm not seriously affected by it. That's why I don't realize. I think a lot of people don't realize what younger generation is going through, or someone who's addicted to this social media, what they are going through. So one example I'll give you. Usually, I've seen this with younger generation, that having real life conversation, talking to people, meeting people, they don't feel comfortable with. Younger generation, they like to remain in their silos. They want to talk to friends only on the mobile. But when you tell them just go talk to someone, or if they need to ask help, or if they need to even gather some information, it's difficult for them to go ask some other person for that information. They're comfortable googling it, comfortable looking at on internet, and spend 30 minutes rather than which you can just talk to someone and get it sorted in 5 minutes. So that's a big challenge. That's a big problem. So people who are not in that zone, I would suggest them to be aware of such things. You might not be addicted, but you might see someone around, they might be affected. Uh, so just be aware of this and be compassionate to those and help them come out of it. That's what I would
Fantastic.
request everyone.
Fantastic. So we have some comments from our users, from our viewers. Disappointments for low likes against posts. So this is a big factor, I think. You are expecting 100 likes or 200 likes and you get only 20, and you may feel low about it. Then we have a comment from Arya who says, instead of having 1,000 fake friends, it is better to have one true friend. I fully agree with you, because one true friend is there who's going to help you when you are in trouble. The rest of the people may not really help you. So somebody says concentrate on hobbies, reading books, talk to friends. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I agree. We're going to discuss that now. So let's come on to the solutions part. We know that there is a danger. We know people are getting addicted, hooked on, much beyond what they should be doing. Let's talk about how to come out of this. I'm sure a lot of viewers and people are keen to know, and I'm also keen to know about your ideas on how to come out of this and reduce, so that we can focus on our real issues of our life and not just get carried away into this digital stream.
Sure. I use a formula here, which is like AAA, which is like acknowledge, analyze, and basically fix the issue, whatever you're going through. Uh, uh, so the first step in this is analyze, because I'm into digital marketing field. I go through a lot of data points to understand what exactly is causing the problem, or where exactly people are getting fixated. Why do they use social media? For what purpose do they use? Or what kind of sense of feeling they try to derive out of this? So I have like a lot of data points which I categorize them under the analyze section, wherein first of all acknowledge that is there a problem first of all. So and then once we acknowledge that there is a problem, then we analyze like, okay, now what can be done about it? Am I affected, or in my vicinity is there anyone else who's affected? And in the third step, the third A is about avoid, like so now what can be done to avoid getting into this trap?
Okay. So first is acknowledge that there could be a problem. If I'm wasting time, not being productive, not able to concentrate. So first step is acknowledgement, you're saying. The
Mm-hmm.
second step is analyze how much time I'm spending on the net or what am I doing wrong. And third thing is avoid. So these are the 3-step plan: acknowledge, analyze, and avoid. Fantastic, lovely advice. Yeah. Now what is to be done next? So if I realize that okay, I am spending too much of time on the internet, what do I do next?
So as part of acknowledge, what I would like to put some numbers across. Uh, so as per study, it says that at an average in the year 2009, at an average, people have spent 2.5 hours per day on social media, and that's an average. So, but when you look at the younger crowd, younger generation, at an average, they spend around 6 hours per day on social media.
It could
That's
be more.
that's it could be more.
After
That's
the lockdown, it could be more. You may add another double that number now.
double would be like really high, but even 6 hours a day is shocking. It's alarming. I mean, it's too much.
Okay.
So if you are in that threshold, then definitely this session is for you. Please see it till completion, and there are a few tips which we are about to give. uh, Please follow those. It's gonna help you, trust me.
Okay. So let's start with the tips. What do I do? How to reduce? What would you say?
Solution part will come to that later. Another data point I have is like, so why do people use social media? What is the major thing? What a major thing they are doing on social media? So 40% say that they go to social media for being up to date with current events, news also. And of course, what's not said is that they want to like look into like others' life, like what's happening, who's going where. The example which you took, who has which mobile phone, or what are the places they're visiting. So 39% people says that they just want to stay in touch with friends. So they are, as I said, they are comfortable on phone to stay in touch with them. A few people say that 38% say that they just go there for entertainment, for fun stuff, entertainment stuff. So these are the major three reasons people go on internet now or these days.
So, okay, Gaurav, just want to put a pause here. Let's ask our viewers. We have a number of viewers. Let's ask them on an average, how much time are they spending in front of the screens in a day? It could be the mobile screen or the TV screen or the laptop screen. Could they just do a little bit of assessment here and type in a number, whether it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, we don't know. So let's see on an average, what is the amount of time people are using. So like, because you said acknowledge, awareness, analyze. So let's use this conversation to help our viewers also to analyze and check, because that's, like you said, the first step, realization that we are using the social media or the digital media in a lot of excess than we should be. So can we have our viewers putting in some number? Okay, Mr. Swami says 3 to 4 hours. And then we have Jamila who says 6 to 7 hours. That's very interesting. And Seema says mostly children spend a lot of time in gaming, okay, which is very time consuming. So gaming is another big issue, right?
Yes.
Then Miss Kaur says 6 hours. Okay, so it's averaging around 6 to 4 to 7. And 3 to 4, Arya says 3 to 4 in lockdown. That's very interesting. Thank you, Arya. So that's very interesting. You're getting interesting inputs. So apart from the data which you have collected from the internet, we have our data of our viewers who are putting in their number of hours.
So if I look at the responses you guys have given, it's on the higher side, guys. It has to be reduced. We need to pick up something which takes your time away from these devices. It's high.
Right. So what do we do? Let's come on to the real points now. How can we come out of this?
Okay. So again, so I would like you to think that how much time you are spending on this internet, and what should be those top reasons to be away from these devices, right? So I have some data on those lines too. A lot of people who have started to realize that these devices, these screens are taking too much of their time from their life. So there, one statistic says that at an average, if we take averages, 15 years of our life we're going to be spending on looking at screen, either
15
mobile
years.
or TV. 15 years
15
of
years
our
is a
life.
long time.
a huge time.
Okay.
I mean, it's huge. So why? So now people are starting to realize that okay, there's a lot of time which is being wasted on this. So 41% of the people say that they are just wasting too much of time. There's a lot of negativity when they go on to social media. Yeah. And now people also have started to realize that there's too much of content overload which they're going through.
Right. So
Uh,
can you share your tips how to avoid?
yeah, sure. So the bonus tip which I wanna give is just first of all thing is again in acknowledge being aware of these things, being aware of what system, how much time you're spending. So I have few apps which you can use, which can analyze the data, the time which you're spending on internet. So if you install these apps, they're gonna tell you that how much is the average time. And there are few apps which also helps you being away from the phone for some time. Like during the you can just start that app and it will not allow you to. It'll just lock your phone for some time, like 15 minutes, 30 minutes,
Oh, that's
or
very
during the
interesting.
dinner
I
or the
think
lunch
I
time.
think we all need that kind of apps. Can you just tell us what
Sure.
what are those apps?
So that one in specific is called as a dinner mode. So while having food, just put the dinner mode app, switch it on, and you can't. I mean, your phone will get locked for a certain period of time. Calls will come through, but no social media,
So the
no
app is called
notification.
Dinner Mode. Okay, I'm putting the
Yeah.
name of the apps in the chat box so that our viewers can use it. That's very
Hmm.
interesting. What else do you have?
Sure. The another one is flipped. FLIPD.
FLIPD. Okay.
And the third one is
What does that
space.
do?
But pretty much they are pretty much on the same thing. They basically track the time or the time which you're spending on phone as an overall. Few apps will get into more details that how much time you're spending on Facebook or Google My Business or WhatsApp. So they'll give you that that
Fantastic.
breakup.
Fantastic.
Okay.
So one is dinner mode, second is flipped.
Third one is space. SPACE.
SPACE.
Yeah, space.
So let me type that out here.
I'll help you with that.
Okay, I've done that. Space, fantastic. So we
And
have
then
three apps. One is dinner mode, second is flipped, and third is space. And I've put all these apps names in the chat box. So viewers, you can have a look at them, try to use it, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of surprises in store when we actually get to the data which we are talking about. 6 hours could be 8 hours also, or maybe 4.
it's quite revealing and helpful also. There are other apps also. This session gets recorded, so I'll put it in the comments when this video goes live.
Fair, towards the end, we can put it on the video, so the users can choose, right? So that's very interesting. So the first tip is get to know how much time we are using by actually putting an app which will tell you that at the end of the day what is your usage of internet. That's very interesting. What do we have next, Gaurav?
The second thing and the most important thing and the biggest enemy, I would say, is get rid of those notifications.
Notifications. Why? Because the notifications are supposed to help us to know message has come or a post has come or somebody has liked my picture.
True, and again I say the same thing that these notifications are actually made to help us, but then OCD, you might have an obsessive compulsion disorder, right? It's real. Okay, I have literally seen with my cousins and my nephews that let's say if we are having a conversation or if we are having a food, if the phone is kept little far off, where he can't reach, okay, if if the notification comes, right, I could see that in just 20 seconds, if he doesn't attend that or if he doesn't see that, he starts to get finicky about it. He has to see the phone. He just can't let it go without it. That's alarming. I mean, it's okay if it's just a message, right? If there's anything important, make a rule, guys. If just communicate to your friends, okay? For anything urgent, call is the medium. Okay,
Yes.
this anything as this notification, this chit chat and all that thing, it's not important. If it happens, nothing's gonna go wrong. Just put that in your head.
So remove all notifications. That's what you're saying. But
All
all my
this,
excitement will end if I remove the notifications.
that's a choice. I
Okay.
mean, if you want to move towards that, moves towards a better life, and I mean, I'll call it as a disease. Trust me, that not able to not able to attend to those notifications and still being fine is a better way of life, I would say.
Okay. Okay. So I'll try that because it does impact my concentration because whenever there's a ting or ping on the mobile, my mind is diverted there.
Yeah, so I also have a bit of it, but over a constant practice, I think now I'm fine. I'm very
Okay.
comfortable, at
So
least at this
that's
particular point.
very interesting point. So remove, viewers, please remove notifications, stop all the notifications because every notification that you're going to get is going to distract you from your work, from your thought process, and you cannot focus on your work. All the time you'll be jumping to your phone or your laptop to see what is that notification, and usually it's some insignificant stuff. Somebody liked, somebody put a message, somebody put a post. And if there is any emergency, I'm sure somebody is going to call you. Somebody is admitted in a hospital, somebody is facing an emergency or amongst your friend and family. He will not put a post that, oh, I met with an accident at Banjara Hills, right? He will
Correct.
call you and tell you, I am here, so come and help me. He's not going to put a Facebook post. So we
Correct.
can switch off the notifications. Okay.
True.
Uh, we have one interesting comment from one of our viewers. He says, my son is addicted to PUBG. Okay. I'm sure I will address that very soon. Okay. We also have our viewer. Good evening, SRK. Yeah, we have a very enthusiastic viewer, SRK Raju. Okay, let's move ahead. So after remove notifications, what is the next step we do?
Few on a light notes, like get a new hobby which has nothing to do with digital, nothing to do with TV screen or thing. Music is good. Picking up a new instrument to play is a good one. So pick a new hobby.
Pick a hobby. Okay, that's very interesting. And is playing video games part of the hobbies, or what do you say?
That's what I said with disclaimer, that which does not involve anything digital, no
Okay, so pick
screen.
a hobby which does not involve the screen or the digital media. Otherwise, I mean, some child could say that Gaurav sir told us pick a hobby, and I'm going to pick up a video game as a hobby. So what you're saying is that get away from the mobile screens or the digital screens. The hobby should involve something like you said, musical instrument, gardening, drawing, something which doesn't involve the digital media, right?
Yeah. So I remember a joke. There's an interesting thing happened when with this particular point. I was telling it to someone. So someone told me Microsoft Xbox has something called as Kinect, which means that there are like rays. You can stand in front of the game and you need to like jump or move around. It's a very good exercise. So this child he says that, okay, so can I play Connect because it involves physical exercise and all? So can I take it as a hobby to be away from? But the point I'm making is, again, you're doing it in front of screen. You're seeing
Yes.
screen constantly. So I want Connect is not part of that, guys. Although it involves some exercise. Very clearly, I'm saying pick something which does not involve looking at a screen.
Fantastic, fantastic one. Pick a hobby which takes you away from the screen, and we got some interesting comments. So let me share that with you. Reading books can keep you away from the screen. Very interesting.
Very good.
And hobbies, reading books, play, drawing. Go out of your home or maybe on your terrace if there is a lockdown happening. You don't want to mix with people, but play something, get physical. That will, I think, keep your mind away and keep it fresh. Enjoy the nature. Very interesting. So let's move to the next point. Okay.
Spend more time with friends and family. I would stress on that point again, that with younger generation, I've seen that they're not very comfortable talking to other people. Forget about strangers. I mean, I remember I can just go talk to anyone. Just an introduction is fine. But please, younger generation, whoever you're looking at it, or if you work with someone younger crowd, please allow them or facilitate some exercises which allows them to have conversation with people, or strangers would be really good. How will they strike that conversation? That is something which we should do often.
Okay. So conversations within the
Right.
family, within the extended family, with your
Yeah.
cousins, right? And wherever face to face, like within the family also, maybe you can during the meal time, instead of you know watching your the digital media, you can sit on the table, have your meals with your family, talk to each other. I think that's an important time when you can actually sit down together to discuss. So this is a very important point you brought out, that have real conversations instead of the texting.
Right.
Okay.
And imagine those time, right? When there was no Google, right? There was no Google when I was when I was studying. This information was not easily available. We used to, whenever we used to get projects, either we used to go to library or speak to people from that particular field. So that involved conversation, going out in the market, talking to people, finding the specialist in a particular field. That was a different era altogether. Now everything is available at a fingertip. I think that's what causing the problem. But we also have the opportunity to reverse it, at least to an extent, to just learn the conversational skill. So now, although there is no need, but I still suggest that in certain cases, do it proactively, just to pick that conversational skills, or to
Very
just
nice.
figure
So,
out where to find and how to find a solution.
right, we have some interesting inputs again from our viewers. Mr. Swami says physical exercise, walking, prayers. I agree with you. Very nice. Thank you for that. Then we have a comment by Arya says the main problem is where small children do not eat their food unless and until they watch YouTube while eating.
Okay.
So, like, I think one of the reasons could be, like, I remember when we were small, our parents used to, take us out and show us, oh, dekho Chanda Mama, show us the stars, Chanda Mama ke dikha ke, oh, dekho chidiya, and, giving us food. And right now, the parents switch on the YouTube or something and then keep feeding the children, at least realizing that they may get addicted to it, right?
Yeah, right.
So, very true. So then we have pointed offline conversations can be cultivated as a hobby. And we have one more point. Children should be encouraged to sit and chat with guests and extended family members. This is a
Very
very
good
interesting
one.
point.
Very good.
Very interesting point. Instead of children being told कि जाओ चुपचाप बैठ जाओ अंदर अपनी पढ़ाई करो. When guests come, your relatives, let them sit and have conversations. Let them talk about their hobbies, what is going on. So that way they'll develop real conversation skills, because it doesn't happen in a day, right? Okay. What else have you got in your kitty?
The last
Gaurav?
one, and another most important one is we need to make some rules, because I think if we just leave it to that, okay, things will fall in place automatically, it will not work that way. It will not work automatically. So some rules would help. Another rule which helps me a lot is never bring your smartphone into your bedroom.
Okay.
So the children, right, younger children looking at phone, or looking at the phone before sleeping, all those things can be avoided if you keep your phone outside the bedroom. So usually it doesn't happen that you just go into the bedroom and just fall asleep immediately, right? So if you don't allow any phones in your bedroom, first of all, I don't, although it's not proven, there is something about this waves and all that thing, right?
Yes,
So
electromagnetic waves are there which may be damaging your mind. It could be possible. There are a lot of
yeah.
studies on it, of course. Nothing is proven yet, but it could be possible.
Yeah. So yeah, just on a good faith that okay, we'll keep all those waves away, and then before you just start sleeping, this gap, right, of 30 minutes, or probably an hour. That's when well, then you can talk to your children, you can talk to your wife. So how was the day? What happened? Kya hua? Kaisa tha? So there's some interesting stuff will happen. Now these days, there are no conversations happening at that time. There are a lot of pictures which are shared, right, on internet. His wife is on. I mean, all family members are on their own phone, right?
True, true,
So
true.
that's a reality. That's a that's a harsh reality. And part of it, I that when that Arya talked about that kids don't eat their food without their phone. So somewhere I'm also part of that group. My younger one doesn't see, and unfortunately, my entire work involves in front of the screen, right? So so they learn what they see, and I do all my work on internet, on my laptop. So I'm just like, giving that excuse to myself, or I'm just thinking that probably when he grows up, I'll start educating him about this. That okay, that he should not be spending time. But
True, true.
I think they will do what they see rather than this thing. So I
Exactly.
think that
Although, see, a lot of our work, very interesting point, that children see the adults and they do imbibe those same patterns and habits. A lot of our work is also now coming onto the internet, and even the classes are on the internet. So, how do you keep the children away from the internet? That's another challenge, I think.
it's a challenge, but again, I said, see, during this lockdown and keeping safety in mind, this is where it has come as a blessing, right? Because we have technology, classes can be conducted online. Nobody has to skip a year in their studies and all. So that is to facilitate, and the government has made such rules that there has to be a 15-minute break between every class. I think one of the geo also says that maximum 3 hours. I don't know who was following what. Maximum 3 hours of classes can only happen below primary thing. So there are some rules for that. I think if we just follow that, it's within the safety parameters, and it works well. But now we have to be more careful about that, because the classes are happening online. Then other time which the children used to spend on internet, that should reduce
That
drastically
should
further,
reduce.
not increase.
So, so one point which comes to my mind when you said scheduling. So a child may be automatically, or even adults may be automatically drawn to the internet or the digital media games. So instead of saying that don't sit on the laptop or don't play games, the parents have to gently nudge, guide, and pull the children and tell them, do this, push them out. Okay, take the stuff away and help them to do something and maybe participate along with them. So it's simply saying that move away from the mobile may not really help, but by saying that okay, let's put you into a hobby or play some guitar or learn some instrument where you are away from the net. So we as parents or elders need to think about how to guide the children away from the net and make them do something in which they're not connected to the net or to the screens. So what is that activity which they will do? That itself we need to take care of. I think that's one very, very important point. And another important point which you said is about scheduling. So, okay, so everything needs to be fixed that, okay, this is your play time, this is your screen time, and this is your study time. So once a timetable is laid out, and one of the things which can be done is by parents sitting down with the children and discussing this, that, okay, let's work out a schedule for the day. So when the student or the child participates in this process of making the timetable, then he is more likely to stick to the timetable. But if the just parents give him a timetable and say, okay, do this, do this, do this, maybe he'll say that, no, you made the timetable, you follow it. And the children are quite capable of doing that.
You'll be surprised. It works the other way around also with adults. So I'll tell you, you were part of that experiment, right? So there are all adults in the room. So I asked them, right? So how many of you want your children to reduce on the mobile time, screen time, right? So who all are affected? Everybody raise their hand. Like now, if given an opportunity, if you want to reduce your child's time on this mobile, would you like to do so? So everybody raised, yeah, everybody want to do that. The next question was, so how much you willing to sacrifice for that? I mean, adults. So you want your child. So everybody who's available on this live session right now, a question to you: you want your children to reduce their mobile time and screen time. My question to you is, how much are you willing to give up your screen time and mobile time? Because you want your child to get free from mobile, and then do what, right? Then do what?
Okay.
So you also have to we as adults also have to reduce our screen time and this thing. That's where that rule comes into picture, right? Don't take your mobile into bedroom. So when both of you
Okay.
are without mobile phone, you will either have some conversation, you will either get some update from your children's day-to-day activities, or understand whom he is working with, who are his friends, who is his best friend, where are they planning to do, what he thinks. You sometimes you get his perspective on things also. While having
Fantastic.
conversation, you know that okay, how he look at certain things, in what manner. uh, so you will
Fantastic.
learn a lot about your children in doing so, which may, but it takes a strong commitment from your side also, that you should also be willing to give up on your screen time.
So before the children can give up their screen time, we want the parents also to set an example. And like you said, that don't take your the phones into the bedroom. So then, if there is no phone, obviously there will be conversation. So what is a very interesting point which you're saying. So at some point of time, either we are chatting with the people all over the world,
Mhm.
right, or we are chatting amongst the family members. So it's a choice, and somehow we're tending to choose to talk to somebody sitting in Delhi or maybe New York rather than talk to the person who's sitting next to me, and that becomes very, very dangerous because we really don't know what's happening in the mind of a child, or the child doesn't know what is happening in the mind of the parent. That's very, very interesting point. uh, right. We have one just comment from our viewer. It says we should not totally stop but reduce the time. When I shared my drawing, my friend suggested some good points. So what he's trying to say is uh, we should not stop. Obviously, we also are not saying that stop. It is a necessity, but we need to reduce. That's what is our main thrust, Gaurav.
Yeah, see, that's the point I said. It's there are advantages. I worked in my first company, the college I studied. I'm a people's person. I would like to be in touch with everybody, right? So I have my schoolmates, my teachers, my college mates, everybody. I just ensure I when their birthday comes, I just wish them. Or if there's any work, or if I'm going to some other city, I know that my friend stays there. That's the whole. I mean, use all these very objectively. Just don't keep on going scrolling and spend hours altogether. Have a plan. I mean, 15 minutes to 30 minutes a day on Facebook, just to be in touch with friends, just say hi, hello, wish birthday and all is good.
So you're saying have a plan. Don't fix the timings, whether it's for Facebook or WhatsApp, and don't continuously keep lingering on, because if you're lingering on, there is something or the other happening in the world or happening with those 500
There's
or
no limit.
1,000 friends, and you will just keep clicking and liking and unliking, and that's what.
Absolutely, there's no limit on that. I mean, there's so much of information available that you can't grasp it all. Hours will
Right.
just pass by. So, key mantra there is use social media objectively. Be very clear
Okay.
why
Have
you're
a
there.
plan.
It happens, right? It happens with you and me that okay, I need to call someone, I need to do something. You pick up your phone, that notification comes up, and then you just goes into like watching a movie video and all, and 1 hour later on I've used TikTok, right? So I know how many hours I've burned there. So you just start watching one YouTube one TikTok video, and just scrolls down, and you end up spending 2 hours and feel like, oh, I was supposed to call someone or do something. It happens.
That's very
I'm sure
interesting.
it happens
It
to a lot
happens
of
all the
people.
time. It happens all the time. You pick up one video, then there is a second video coming up, third video, fourth video. But the interesting point in all this is loss of productivity. So at the point I'm watching the video of some, let's say, famous person, that famous person is not watching my video. Okay, he's creating the next video. Okay, so I'm losing out on money and time. The person whose video I'm watching is making money out of me, my time, and Mark Zuckerberg or Sundar Pichai, whoever those persons are, they are making money out of my attention, isn't it? So I
I'll
am at the receiving end. I'm paying money to get the internet connection. I'm paying them
okay.
time, and they are making money and becoming billionaires. So why shouldn't I become a billionaire by
Absolutely.
focusing on my work?
Absolutely. So, true story. My nephews are like 18 and 19 now. So they keep arguing about a lot of this stuff. So one such conversation was spending time on the social media and all. I told them don't spend so much of time on. They most of the time goes on Netflix, Amazon Prime, and YouTube. But then it doesn't make sense. You should not be spending that much of time. So they started giving me examples. The very common excuse they have is. Uh, so many people are making money on YouTube and all that thing. They are making money by creating content, okay,
Right.
not by watching content.
Not be
Okay,
watching.
so if you are involved, if you put your creativity, if you have an idea, if you this thing, I'm absolutely fine if you have a creative idea which involves. See, I make my money doing digital marketing on internet, on computer, right? So I have absolutely have no idea when you are creating content and have a plan in place. No, I'm also not okay if they don't make money. I'm fine with that, but at least don't just kill your time by just watching videos after
Right.
videos.
Interesting.
Another example, I think once this Bill Gates said that if he has to get anything work done quickly, he'll give it to the laziest person in the company, and he will figure out the smartest way of doing things. So it's a
Right.
very
Right.
common proverb, right? Work smarter, not harder. I think
Right.
people have taken that very religiously in a wrong manner.
Okay.
So if you have a smart idea, but if you don't implement it, it will not yield anything. I think the correct phrase is work smart as well as hard. But I've
Okay.
seen this as a common perception. This younger generation takes it very literally that work smarter, not harder. Although the original quote is like that. But imagine like you have a beautiful idea that you're gonna make a software or you're gonna do something which will change the world, and if you just sit on it for like years together, it's not gonna yield result. I work with a lot
Okay.
of startups. Okay, so there's too much of hard work which goes in taking an idea to reality. So
All right.
it always works hand in hand. There's no smart work without the hard work.
Very interesting. So, as we are approaching towards the end of our program, let's ask our viewers out there if they have any questions. Please post your questions, your queries, your suggestions, or your ideas if you have not shared any, so that we can, put it on the net so that everybody can get benefited from the wonderful ideas that you have. Or if you have any questions, please feel free to post the questions and let us try and find some answers. So meanwhile, Gaurav, one of the viewers had posted that her son is addicted to PUBG gaming. So what is the suggestion that you have for that person? Can you share your ideas or thoughts on this?
So I have the very close relation to like gaming. I myself is a was a very crazy gamer. I used to play a game called as Dota 2, and you won't believe
What
I
is the
have
name? Can you repeat the name of the game?
it's Dota 2. It's very close to PUBG. PUBG is
Okay,
on mobile, but works on PC. So I have recorded 7,000 hours of my life in that game. I
seven
mean,
thousand hours.
I've spent 7,000 hours playing that game. Huge addiction. All that what I have discussed in this session, loss of productivity, objectiveless, wasting time. I have done all that in playing that game, and realize it later after spending 7,000 hours that it's not worth it. I mean, it's fun. It's fun for the time when you're playing the game, but I mean, it's a loss of time. I have
Okay,
no
so
memories of the games I won, how I felt at that time. I have no memories of that game. I'm sure anyone who plays even PUBG, probably 4 or 5 days later, they don't remember anything from that game. So you just realize that it's just time being killed. There's nothing which you get out of that. It just gives you a good feeling at that point in time. That's how these games and everything is made.
basically it's momentary joy and that's the end of it. But the time it is taking away your attention, your health. So what are the steps you would suggest to the parents of any student to how to progressively reduce this gaming time? What are the steps you would suggest?
So it's a difficult thing, Riaz. This is going to be a little difficult thing because these games are made that way. I think constant, conversations, making them like meet person like me who have that addiction and then move forward. They have moved forward in life. Some real, I mean, conversation. You just have to talk to these people as much as possible. The thing is, it's not gonna go away easily. It took me 4 years for me to quit.
Okay. Okay.
So it's not going to happen quickly, easily. But that's not an excuse. Just because I took that much of time doesn't mean that others are also going to take the time. It's a
So one
very
is you're
dangerous
saying
thing.
conversations. What else steps can be taken?
Examples, real life examples. Give sit with them, work with them, do something together. Uh, just figure out what they like to do. So we do. I'm part of the training organization, right? The Peoplecraft. So there, one thing we do is we conduct personality tests in which we figure out where does the person's interest lies, actual interest lies. So in that, we connect it with a hobby or something which they really enjoys doing. Okay, could be music, could be some workshop to someone. For others, it could be painting, drawing, multimedia. I don't know what it's gonna be. It has to be figured out. Okay, and just have to take
But
time away from those games.
right. So it's important to take the students or the children away from games because of the addiction problem, and he's not able to get away, and the related health issues. And it affects the mind also because maybe there are a lot of games involve aggression, fight, and there was a game called Grand Auto Theft in which people are, I
Yeah.
think, supposed to steal cars. So, what is the message which is getting driven into the mind of the child who is playing that it's okay to steal cars? So, and a lot of violence, firing, killing. So, it can lead to a lot of distortions of the mind because what we do all day and think about all day may actually lead to real life actions.
See, whenever we have this, I have this conversation with someone, I don't feel very good, okay? Because I have been the victim of it, and I know. It's when I used to play those games, I used to give myself those kind of some kind of excuses, which are, it's gonna help me build my eye hand coordination, okay? It is a stress reliever.
Hmm.
These people, there are some blog articles, everything, so many things written on this thing. These are just mere excuses to get you more hooked onto this thing, spend more time. I'm telling you, I'm a real life example. 7,000 hours is a lot, a lot. Okay, I have spent, I don't know if we convert it into years and all. From that 15 years, I might have spent probably 1 or 2 years doing this thing. Okay, really, really bad.
Okay.
Please talk to someone who has played game, who have moved out of it. It's not a good thing. If
Right.
you really want to do it for enjoy fun, if you think you can just challenge your kid in a way that if you think you are in control, then you should be able to control the number of hours you play. You should not get addicted to it. Post dinner or post your homework or post a particular event, play it for an hour, and then you should have that control that you should be able to stop and not play
Fix
further.
the timings. Mainly,
Fix
you're
the time.
saying to have conversations, fix the timings, get the child to get into hobbies which are do not involve. Again, I'm repeating digital
Yes.
media. So
Yes.
that is the main thing. And my personal view is, if force you have to use force, please use it because some of the people who have gone into too much of addiction, playing for whole night or 12 hours or 16 hours, their health has seriously deteriorated. And let me tell you, some people have died also. We don't want anybody going through that situation. Somebody who's
It's true.
addicted needs help, and that help can be in whichever form. Don't take it lightly that okay, since everybody is doing it, maybe your child is more vulnerable, so don't leave it at that. Take active steps, take help of your teachers or counselors or people in this industry, or I mean in the counseling zone, or from trainers or people in therapy. But the problem needs to be addressed and solved. So now let's come on to our last uh, so you're talking about the inspiring figures of your life. So what is the connection to that, to the internet addiction to that? Can you talk about
Right.
that?
So remember that first question where I asked that whom do you look up to in your life and why, right? So just imagine, ask a very basic question to yourself. If those people would have spent this much of time which you are spending looking at their mobile phone or looking at their screen, have they become the person who what they are today? Will Amitabh Bachchan be Amitabh Bachchan if he watches movies for 4 or 5 hours? Will Sachin Tendulkar be Sachin Tendulkar if he plays cricket or PUBG on mobile for 5-6 hours? Will that be
No,
the case with Saina Nehwal? So
no.
it's very good that we look at these as an inspiring figures in our life. We want to go gaga about them, but we don't want to take any action towards becoming one of those or following any of the best practices which they follow. I'm
Okay.
sure if you talk to any one of those, they'll clearly say that they don't spend on this thing. They are very focused in what they want to do and with what they want to achieve.
That's very interesting. So what you're saying is that I mean, if we get inspired by somebody, let us also look at how much time they are putting into creating that excellence in their lives, instead of getting diverted into the digital media or the internet or gaming.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the whole point. I told, right, there is a way to figure out what you are passionate about, what drives the energy within you, and once you figure out that passion, this thing, dedicate your life or at least a good amount of hours in upskilling, making that passion to something which can from the passion to being professional in that particular field.
That's very interesting, because I remember in one of the PV Sindhu's interviews that when she was training for Olympics for 6 months, she was totally cut off from social media. Cut off. I mean, I'm not talking of 1 minute or 30 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours. For 6 months, she was off from social media. You can imagine what is the kind of commitment, and that's no wonder she won a Olympic medal. So that is the kind of commitment which is required to be there. And I'm sure if PV Sindhu is sitting and was sitting and watching Facebook and liking and doing all that stuff, she wouldn't have reached anywhere beyond nationals also.
It just takes a crazy amount of dedication to be that winner. I've seen a trainer friend of mine. He has switched from smartphone to that basic feature phone just to be away from all these things. He said that
Okay.
if there's anything important, I would. So he communicated to all of his friends that if there's anything, he's not on all these medias. If there's anything, they have to call him. So the two advantages that he had a lot of conversations with people, which is good for his business, and no time wasters. I mean, he all of a
Okay.
sudden started finding so much of time in his life
Oh.
just because he switched from smartphone to a basic feature phone.
So you're saying leave the smartphone, that's one of the suggestion, and go on to the basic phone, and your life will be happy. That's very, very interesting. I don't know if very many people have the courage to do that. I'm not sure if I can do that. Well, we have a question which I think we have already answered. Are there some key steps to reduce gaming addiction? I think the key key problem with a lot of parents are facing. Okay,
Uh,
just 3 steps, simple 3 steps. Give 3 steps.
the first thing is that there's no easy way. It will be a
No, no,
longer
okay,
journey.
just give 3 steps.
Okay. Limit the time.
Okay,
Keep
limit the
having
time.
limit the time. So I game in this entire session. I've blamed the entire gaming thing. It with limited time, it actually helps in a little bit of that coordination and all. But just maximum 1 hour a day.
Okay,
Limit
limited
the
time,
time.
1 hour.
Keep discussing the advantages, disadvantages.
Discuss 2.
Okay. The third thing is divert that mind and time to something
Divert.
uh, productive or helpful.
Okay, so there is a 3-step plan to reduce the gaming. One is fix the timings, 2 is discuss, and 3 is divert the child's or a student's attention into different non-digital media-based activities. Fantastic. Are there any other questions from our viewers before we wind up the show? I'm waiting for your questions. We had a wonderful discussion with Gaurav. A lot of interesting points have come up. I'm sure there must be some questions with you which you want to ask him about anything which is related to the internet, in terms of the hooking on or what we call addiction, because today there is a real danger of people falling into this trap of too much of social media, too much of internet, too much of gaming, which can severely harm. And today we also have de-addiction centers. You know, a lot of countries, even in India, I think we have de-addiction centers. I had only seen de-addiction centers for drugs and all, but now we have de-addiction centers for internet also. What do you say about that, Gaurav?
I think, yeah. In future, I don't know, if we don't take control of our own lives. I think probably these centers have to take care of it. Not a good state to be into.
Okay. So while we have been discussing various thoughts, plans, action, tips, I'm sure each person or each parent or each student is going through his own difficult issues, which you will have to constantly look out for solutions, which you may have to customize as per your need or your situation. Nobody has a perfect answer. We also don't have perfect answers, but our aim is to initiate these conversations, initiate this topic, so that there is an awareness of this issue. And because this issue can have serious repercussions, especially on the minds which are vulnerable. So that our whole aim of having these shows, having this talk, having these conversations, to trigger a thought process, trigger a discussion. And once a discussion starts, I'm sure some solutions will emerge when you talk it out with your children or with your parents. Is there anything else you would like to ask or you would like to suggest? Please keep posting. And apart from the discussion which we had, if you have any further inputs, further reviews, further feedback on our programs, please come to our Facebook page, UnBox YEI, and post your suggestions and your thoughts. Any other programs which you would like to see on our weekly shows here, which happens on Wednesday, 7 o'clock, Facebook Live, please post the topics you would like us to cover, and we can get different experts from different fields and they can share their thoughts with you. And like I said, our aim of UnBox is to help the students, especially the youth, to be more confident, to improve their emotional strength, to reduce the stress, to reduce depression, and also to prevent them from taking any extreme steps like suicide, because that's on the rise in the student community. That's what we are here for. That's what we are committed to. And we have a whole group of people working on this, out of which Gaurav is also a part of that. I'm happy to have him here talking to you today. Any last thoughts, Gaurav?
Nothing. It's been my pleasure to share, to be on this live show with you. Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Gaurav. Thank you, everybody who's out there. Have a great day. Be confident. Keep talking. Keep having conversations. And don't stick too much to the digital media. Get onto the real world, real conversations. Be confident. Be happy and be stress-free. Thank you, and have a nice day ahead. And good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.